The digital production buzz at the 2015 NAB Show is made possible by supporting sponsors. Shutterstock, a global marketplace for royalty-free images and videos. With over 2 million royalty-free HD and 4K video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. And by One Beyond, leaders in digital video systems for streaming, archive, and storage. Additional sponsors include LarryJordan.com, helping media pros find work, improve their skills, and keep clients happy.
Beaming live from the 2015 NAB Show in Las Vegas. Media, technology, news, insight. Connecting media professionals around the globe. This is the NAB Show BuZZ Live.
And welcome to Day 3 of the 2015 NAB Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Larry Jordan, and this is the Digital Production Buzz, the world's longest-running podcast covering media production, post-production, and distribution around the world. It is an amazing show we've got for you coming up in just a minute, but I have to tell you that I am having a great time participating in the conversation on Twitter. Terry Sullenberger wrote, "Awesome shows so far, Larry. I appreciate all you and your great crew are doing to keep us who can't attend in the know." We are having so much fun over here. It's just incredible. And the guests we have in today's show, we're going to start with Dave Walton. He's the Assistant Vice President for Marketing Communications, a longtime visitor on the Buzz with JVC Professional Video, talking about the latest cameras from JVC. Then, Philip Nelson, the Chief Relationship Officer for NewTek, is here to talk about some of the latest products that NewTek announced at NAB, followed by Larry O'Connor, the CEO and founder of OWC, about new Thunderbolt drives that OWC is releasing, and then Rony Sebok, the Vice President of Marketing for One Beyond, to talk about some of the new streaming technology from One Beyond, coming up next. This is Larry Jordan. I'd like to introduce you to one of our sponsors, Shutterstock.com. They're a global marketplace for royalty-free images, videos, and music. Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. Whether it's for your website, a publication, an ad, video, or any other type of project, you can choose from over 2 million royalty-free HD, even 4K stock video clips. These include time-lapses, aerials, green screens, and model-released video. Take 25% off your first purchase. Go to Shutterstock.com and use offer code NABBuzz15. That's NABBUZZ15. And if you're attending NAB in person, visit Shutterstock at booth C1727 in the Central Hall. It's all at Shutterstock.com. If you've been participating in video for even a short amount of time, you've heard about JVC. You know that JVC makes a range of cameras, but you may not understand exactly everything that JVC is doing, and that's where our next guest has such an important role to play. His name is Dave Walton. He's the Assistant Vice President for Marketing Communications, and I think this is about the 6th year you've been on the show, and it's fun every time you're on. Thanks for coming back.
Well, this is year number 35 for me coming here to NAB, so it's always a pleasure. It's the 3rd day of the show, so it's a time to just relax a little bit, and that's a good thing because we're constantly hyped and we have so much going on in the booth that it's hard to ever get a moment to just sit down and take a breath.
There's no relaxation at NAB. It's really when exhaustion kicks in, and you've moved from adrenaline to exhaustion. You hit that wall. It's about day 3 when that kicks in, and then you stop caring, I think is the real point.
No, we care. We care. We're already planning for the next year's NAB.
I do believe that. Help me understand, the buzz at the show these days is going to companies like HAA and Blackmagic Design with their new cameras. And How does a company like JVC position themselves against the newcomers? Why should people even consider JVC products?
Well, traditional camera manufacturers have been in business for a long time, and I think it's important to understand some of the things that are behind the cameras. There's really, in this day and age, there are some fundamental technologies that go into building a camera that if you have the infrastructure and the knowledge to do it, you can build a camera. For example, the design of the imager chips. A lot of people buy those from some third-party company. JVC actually designs and builds the imagers themselves. In this particular camera, the brand new GYLS 300 has a super 35 millimeter sensor, and that was actually designed and built by JVC. The other big part of the camera is the image processor. A lot of people don't realize what goes into processing the image in a camera. You think,
now,
well,
here you're not talking the sensor, you're talking the software behind the sensor.
The software behind the sensor, because there's a lot of data that has to be processed in order to be able to record an image. And that's a very expensive proposition. You don't just design one, build it for one camera, and then go on and design another one. It costs millions and millions of dollars to design that IC that processes that. So you have to plan to amortize that over many cameras over a long period of time. So, I mean, we have a broad camera line. We use the same processor in many cameras, and we have many decades of experience in building the video cameras.
Okay, but let me ask a negative side to that. If the IC, if that software, which is processing the images, needs to be amortized over a long period of time, that makes it really hard to respond to new technology because you're locked into this old coding technology. How does JVC respond to industry change?
Well, that's the key in building those processors. First of all, our designers are very well aware of future trends. You build processing capabilities into those processors that allow for those changes. And it also gives you the opportunity not only to build a broader line of cameras. You know, it's not like we're building one camera for one application. We're building cameras that are used in television station studios, for electronic news gathering, all the way down to the consumer level. They build digital processors that can handle the amount of data. They know where the trends are going, so for having a broad line of products is actually a benefit. And it also allows us to upgrade our cameras. We have 3 models this year. We're just announcing upgrades. It used to be to make an upgrade, you had to have hardware changes. Now we have firmware changes, and we can add new features and new performance to a camera that we introduced last year and even 2 years ago.
Now, is it a true statement or just way too simplistic to say that cameras today are essentially a computer chip that's got a lens in front of it?
A little bit simplistic. There's, of course, the most important part of the camera is the lens, because that's what gathers the light and presents it to the chip. But the imager chip is very important, and the processing, and then how you store that. What trade-offs do you make? And there's a lot of trade-offs that have to be made. A 4K image, uncompressed, is around 12 gigabits per second. Now, that's a lot of data. You're not going to stream 12 gigabits per second.
Not for long.
Or 6 gigabits per second, or 3 gigabits per second. So you've got to make some changes, or the people that are watching this show would not be able to see us.
So thinking of that, what are some of the new things that JVC has come out with this year?
We introduced a new line of products called 4K Cam.
I'm going to hold it here so we can get a close-up of it.
Okay. And the 4K Cam series is a new series that offers the ability, obviously, to shoot in 4K, but also to provide a very good high-quality HD as well. And this particular model, the GYLS 300, as I mentioned, has a Super 35 image sensor. It uses interchangeable lenses. Large imagers are preferred by people that are doing cinematography type work.
Because it's got a narrow depth of field.
Well, it can have a very narrow depth of field. But what we've done is we've taken it a step further by being able to remap the sensor. And again, this goes into knowing how to design a camera and have actually an IC that can go back in real time with that much data and rescan the sensor. You can use different types of lenses on this camera, so just about any lens in your bag can be used. Even a Super 16 millimeter lens can be used, and you tell the camera, rescan the sensor because I'm using a Super 16, so I won't have vignetting all over the picture. So you have a lot more lens options than you would with another competitor's camera, for example.
So what is... The big challenge we've got is we take all this 12 gigabits a second of data and boil it down is the codec that we're using, what format we're recording. What choices has JVC made here?
Well, we're using H.264, which is a very efficient codec. We're a little too early to go with H.265 or HEVC. Not a lot of standards out there supporting that, but H.264 is very, very widely supported. So you can shoot in 4K with this camera on 1 or 2 memory cards, a couple of hours worth of 4K, pop the card out, plug it into Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, and you can begin editing immediately.
Can we still do XD-Cam?
XD-Cam is actually MPEG-2. We have a Pro HD line of cameras that can do MPEG-2, but we didn't put MPEG-2 into these cameras.
So H.264 better for high-resolution images.
H.264 is about twice as efficient as MPEG-2.
And for people that want to learn more, what website can they go visit?
Come to pro.jvc.com, or you can go to jvc.com/4K. That's the easiest one to remember, and you'll learn all about these.
That's pro.jvc.com. Dave Walton, Assistant VP, Marketing Communications. Dave, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Larry.
Beyond loaned us the video gear we're using to present the BuZZ at NAB. We're using 3 One Beyond StreamCam PTZs for our live cameras and the One Beyond Stream Machine Pro to switch, add titles, encode, stream live, even record the show for later posting. The Stream Machine is portable, the size of a briefcase with a convenient handle, built-in screen, and keyboard. It includes 4 HDSDI inputs, so it's easy to set up anywhere and begin broadcasting. This one unit replaces all the gear used in the traditional switcher, recorder, encoder configuration. Also new at the show, the One Beyond StreamCam Auto Tracker. The Auto Tracker automatically follows a speaker with no camera operator required. One Beyond has a new way to experience a multicam event online. The One Beyond U-Switch player lets the viewer switch between cameras in their browser, live, as they watch. See all of these at onebeyond.com. NewTek has revolutionized the way that television gets produced, from small productions up to network, even international productions. And the Chief Relationship Officer for NewTek, which has got to be the most killer title I've run into in the last couple of weeks. The Chief Relationship Officer for NewTek is Philip Nelson. Philip, welcome back. Good
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be back.
What does a relationship officer do that you can talk about in public?
You know, I've been at NewTek since almost the dawn of time. I've been there 17 years now.
Is it that old a company?
Well, actually, NewTek's it was started in 1985.
Wasn't it Toast?
Yeah, in 1985, they developed a product called the DigiView, which was one of the first times you could get a 4096 color image into a computer on a consumer level. And then we invented the video toaster in the early 90s, won a Primetime Emmy. And then in 2005, revolutionized the internet television. We kicked off the internet television revolution with the TriCaster.
It's just every time I turn and made a household name of Kiki, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the whole goal of NewTek, I think, was to take what was a really cumbersome process and make it a whole lot simpler.
Yeah.
But what do you view as your vision?
Well, in 1985, I think it was in 85, Tim Jennison was quoted. He's our founder and the visionary. He said, in the next 20 years, your favorite TV show will be made by you or someone you know. And to put that into perspective, in 1985, there wasn't a consumer internet. You did not make TV on a computer. You know, no one knew what streaming was. I mean, you didn't even have HTTP really available. You were telnetting. So, you know, with that quote, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to democratize television. He wanted to put the power in the hands of the creatives, the people with the big ideas, not necessarily the people with the deep pockets. May the best man win.
We're going to have there's an interesting contrast coming here. We're going to have you on now, and in a few minutes we're going to have Rony Sebok from One Beyond.
Oh, cool.
And I think there's a sea change going on. I want to get your reaction to whether you agree with it or not. In the past, we would have traditional broadcast with switchers and racks of equipment, and that's how television was produced, and perfectly okay with it produce video. Then you came along with NewTek, which is an entirely different way of integrating all of these different elements to make it much more affordable and much more portable. Then Telestream and companies like One Beyond come along with Wirecast, which makes what NewTek does, it seems to make it even more portable. It's like we're in generations of change. Would you agree or disagree with that concept?
It's different. There's, most of our we are a hardware and software solution. Our focus is professional broadcasters. Our clients are producing 250,000 hours of video a month. 250,000 hours. NBA, NFL, Miss Universe, MTV, and what we try to do with the TriCaster, and one of the reasons we do need hardware to do it, is, we wanted to bring a network TV look that was stable, easy to use, affordable, and very portable, all into a single solution. And we wanted to make it powerful enough that all those high-end tier ones are using it, even when they have the deep pockets. So the NBA and those guys, they can afford whatever they want, but they choose TriCaster. But we wanted it to be affordable enough that fifth graders here in Las Vegas can have it for their school and do a daily newscast. So that's and what's cool is they're learning on the same technology that's being deployed at the NBA All-Star Game or the MTV Movie Awards or wherever. So it is a sea change in the world because the power is now in the hands of the idea people. And the technology is there so that it can look like network television. And it's easy enough to learn that fifth graders can do it. I mean, it's pretty exciting time.
Yeah, it's an amazing time. It changes on an hourly basis, which gets me to, what have you guys got that's new?
Well, we got a couple things here at NAB. We've announced a new offering for the TriCaster line. It's called the TriCaster Advanced Edition, so it's an add-on. It adds 60 additional features to any TriCaster. The modern versions of TriCaster, including in augmented reality, so like I could have my graphics floating in space, and as I pan the camera in the virtual set, the graphics kind of parallax with, so it's like you can tell they're floating in the room. We've got Dante audio support. We have a new streaming engine in the TriCaster, which allows you to stream to multiple points, which is great if you're going like to Akamai and you need a primary and a secondary publishing point. It's got a lot of really cool features. We've got tally support through Ethernet now. It's got editing. It's got enhanced slow motion capabilities in the TriCaster, so that I can be recording things, dropping clips into the DDR in real time, and then go back and do a slow motion instant replay right out of the TriCaster. But there's too many features to just list the bullets, but it's pretty powerful. And it retails for like $14.95 as an add-on to any of the modern TriCaster line.
Where's the comma? $14.95, $1,400?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Good question. Very good question.
Thinking about the fifth grader in Las Vegas, schools don't have a ton of money to spend. What's an entry point for a NewTek?
Well, the TriCaster Mini, which we announced and has been shipping for a few months now, is around $5,000, turnkey. So that's the thing. When you deal with a software solution, you still have to buy a computer. You still have to make it work. You have to have I/O. You have to have all these things. And, we design it so that the TriCaster is a plug-and-play, turnkey, set it up, drop it on the table, plug in your cameras, plug in your mics, plug in your internet, hit stream. and so it takes a lot of the fear out of, in education, teachers are just so overworked. They need that solution to just be plug and play so that they can focus on teaching video, teaching communication through multi-camera video instead of configuration. And another thing that we've announced here, and this is really cool at NAB, is the 3-Play Mini. So it's the most portable instant replay system on the planet. It fits in a backpack. It's about this big. And instant replay has historically been very expensive. I mean, when you look at certain systems are $250,000 just for a multi-channel instant replay system. The 3-Play Mini retails for under 10 grand.
Wow.
So it's a 4-channel instant replay system with the power of the higher end systems, and it's very portable. The last thing that we have here, and this is a huge product, it's called Talk Show.
Which I love a lot. We bought it. We bought model number 2. Microsoft bought
Are you
model number
serious?
1. We've been broadcasting Talk Show for the last 3 months.
Wow.
You and I have to have a conversation about it, but it is a killer product, and I love it a lot. We use it on our weekly show. Where can people go on the web to learn more?
www.newtek.com.
That's newtek.com. Philip Nelson, Chief Relationship Officer with NewTek. Philip, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. You know, one of the things that's cool about NAB is the ability to meet with some of the finest technology providers on the planet. And that includes Larry O'Connor. He's the CEO and founder of OWC, which stands for Otherworld Computing. You may know them from their their web address of macsales.com. And the thing that's cool is that Larry started this business when he was 3, I think, running out of his bedroom. Larry, welcome. Good to have you back.
Great to be here, Larry.
Describe OWC, because there's things I've been learning about you over the last year that I did not realize, which is, one, you make your own gear. You're not just a reseller. And you design your own gear, which is 2 things that I was surprised to learn.
And that's something that we're really working to combat, because, I mean, you come to our site. I mean, we've been a customer-driven organization for 26 years. You know, whether it's the products, whether it's acceleration products, memory, or external storage. I mean, these are solutions that we brought out because people needed solutions that were better than what was available. Needed something faster, needed better support, needed transparency in terms of what was inside. This proprietary stuff that locks you in to one thing or another, that limits, well, quite frankly, your flexibility and ability to sleep at night. Those were things that we sought to combat. But over the years, and we were really an island where we evolved in Woodstock, Illinois. And we had customers that came to us. They, in addition to our own products, can you offer this? Can you offer that? And we said, yeah, absolutely. We really enjoy putting out great products, great solutions that that people like, that people could use, that got it done. So the problem is, though, if you're not an OWC customer, you don't know who we are, haven't actually worked directly with us. You come to our site and say, well, it's just a bunch of white box OEM stuff. Okay, and it's nothing of the sort. I mean, we.
Well, is it just you in your garage still, or do you have a couple people working with you?
Well, it actually started in a barn, believe it or not. This is rural McHenry County, Illinois, 26 years ago. Today, we're a team of about 190. We have locations.
190 people?
Yes, sir.
That's a fair-sized amount of folks.
Well,
where are you based? Just in Woodstock?
Our headquarters in Woodstock has the majority of our team. It's about 140 based in Woodstock, Illinois. Then we have a office in, actually we have 2 offices in manufacturing in Texas. Austin, Texas, a little bit north of Austin, Texas is where we do all the really cool stuff today. Actually, we do cool stuff. I shouldn't say that. I mean, that's that's where I am. So, I mean, that's where I see the cool stuff that we're doing. How about that? And then,
well, that's right. Now that your entire company is not talking to you anymore, I want to find out.
Certainly.
What do you think is the strengths of the company?
It's a dedication to quality, and it's a dedication to our customer. I mean, the products, the solutions that we bring out, and even the third-party stuff that is still available through macsales.com. These are products, these are solutions that we ourselves use, we ourselves who trust to use. These are things that we believe in, and when it comes to the little things like power supplies, rather than cutting a corner because you can peak and it'll start up and it'll work off peak, but you stress things. I mean, we want things to be stable. We want things to run cool. We don't cut a corner where we think it's going to impact, the performance and longevity of the product. I mean, we simply don't cut corners.
I had the great pleasure. You had an invitation dinner Monday night, and I had a great pleasure of joining you and many people on your team, just sitting around the table and talking about cool stuff. And I was talking with Jen Soule, who's your president and like your operations officer, and she says, the thing that she likes most about you is the visionary status that you have of being able to figure out where the company needs to go. She said, and then the rest of us scramble to figure out how to turn that into products. As you look at NAB, what are some of the trends that you're keeping an eye on? What are some of the things that we need to watch over the next year?
There's all sorts of great new technology that's touted around, and the biggest thing is making sure that what you use, what you need in your workflow, is what you're focused on. I mean, trying to chase tomorrow is an interesting, it's an interesting thing. But what you need to do today, there are proven technologies that are available, that are effective, that are fast, and that will evolve and let you go further today and take you further tomorrow. And really, it's taking a look at your own vision. Where are you going today? Where are you going tomorrow? And making sure that you have the solutions today, and you're working with somebody like OWC that's already planning for you tomorrow. The faster, the 6K, the 8K video, the Thunderbolt 3, the solutions for delivering your video over the internet. The solutions internally for being able to collaborate and work with massive amounts of video inputs. It's the iPhone revolution. It's the video that it's a new day coming. Every day is a new day coming. What can I say?
So what are some of the new things that you've developed that's released today that we can use to guide our business in the future?
Sure. I'm really excited about our Thunderbolt, our Thunderbolt 4 solutions. They incorporate the soft rate engine, and I talk about sleeping at night. Data is, that's the form that your creativity ends up being stored. You're shooting video, audio, you're doing production work. You're creating amazing effects. All that ends up residing on disks, and disk drives are great technology. Solid state's even better technology, but sleeping at night means knowing that your data is safe. And our software rate engine, which now ships with all of our Thunderbolt 4 solutions, gives you the peace of mind through both redundancy and really good drive monitoring. There's drive health monitoring that's advertised in a lot of solutions. It doesn't do email right. It doesn't even use, it doesn't use good data to determine when a drive is going to give you an issue. Smart is great for giving you attributes, but by the time Smart tells you something's wrong, you've already had problems. You may have already had data loss. And in addition to all the flexibility and all the power the software gives you for RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, RAID 4, which is an up and coming for solid state drives. Just because it's RAID 4 doesn't mean it's lower than RAID 5. RAID 4 is a dedicated parity drive as opposed to RAID 5 that does distributed parity.
RAID 4 sounds like RAID 3, because RAID 3 had a dedicated parity drive too.
It's a little bit different. So I would let Tim Standing actually explain this between RAID 3 and RAID 4, but RAID 4 has a better resiliency, and it's faster.
All right.
And it's faster than RAID 5.
We'll hold you to that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll tell you, we've done we were surprised. I was surprised because I was.
Now you've also got a Thunderbolt dock that if I remember seeing in your booth, which is what?
It's 12 ports. It gives you 5 USB 3s. It gives you HDMI. It gives you gigabit Ethernet. It gives you audio in, audio out. 2 of the USB 3 ports are high power enabled for charging devices up to 2.4 amps. We also have on the USB ports, they're full speed. They're all USBP enabled, so you get full performance. Plus, you can even use an eSATA to USB adapter, so it supports eSATA devices as well. But the real sweet spot, the real cool thing and it's a lot of work to still support FireWire. And we do have FireWire on this dock because all you guys, and myself included, we have drives that we use for archive. FireWire is what it's all about. FireWire has been there for a long time.
All right, stop.
I love FireWire.
Larry O'Connor is the CEO and founder of OWC. Their website's maxsales.com. Larry, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Larry.
I've got a ton of brand new training videos showcasing all the new features in Final Cut Pro 10.2, and they're all available today. In fact, we've updated our entire Final Cut training for this release. We added more than 70 new movies covering every major and minor new feature in the software. Then I figured as long as I was recording, I added new techniques and new ways of working that I've discovered and written about in my newsletter over the years. We've updated our workflow and editing training with 31 new movies and effects with 41 new movies. This makes our Final Cut training the most comprehensive, most up-to-date, and most affordable way to learn everything about this amazing software. It's quick, it's easy, and it's complete. I'm proud of all of my training, and especially proud of this one. Get your copy today in our store at larryjordan.com, or even better, become a member of our video training library and get access to all of our training for one low monthly price. Both are incredible values. Thanks. One Beyond builds professional video systems for all aspects of a production workflow, from both small companies to large. In fact, the first time I came across One Beyond is when they had an installation at NASA at Wallops Island. I was there doing some training, and they said, we got to show you these new toys. And they walked me into a room filled with blinking lights. It was wonderful. Rony Sebok is the Vice President for One Beyond. Rony, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
How would you describe the company?
Yeah, so we've been around almost 20 years now.
20 years?
Yeah, and we're a manufacturer of computer systems for the video professional, with an eye towards streamlining workflow and reducing cost. So that's always been, we're looking at the next thing that's coming along that's going to help the video professional.
Describe a couple of the products that you've got.
Yeah, so we've got everything from high-end editing systems and really fast shared storage, to LTO archive products, including NetDrive and tape library. And now, as you mentioned before, we've introduced an entire line of streaming and recording solutions.
Well, one of the things I'm delighted with is you're sharing with us your streaming engine called the Stream Machine.
The Stream Machine.
Which is what we're using here for streaming for the BuZZ, which is, describe it to me.
Yeah, so actually, I don't know if the camera shows the Stream Machine right here.
Oh, let me get this lifted up. So how would you open this up?
But there it is. You just open it like that, and you've got the really high-resolution monitor built right in, keyboard, and this is running Wirecast software, so it's a software that's familiar to many people, but I don't think anybody's ever experienced the power of the software, because in order to take advantage of it, you need a really powerful system behind it, as you heard earlier. But yeah, we have 4 HD SDI inputs and XLR audio inputs, and you can bring in Skype and Twitter and web stream cameras and iPhone cameras all in live switch, including media and everything. It really does revolutionize the portability and functionality of recording and streaming an event.
Now, I was talking with Philip Nelson from NewTek just a couple segments ago, and describing the fact that we had the traditional way of creating video, and then NewTek totally revolutionized it. And then Telestream with Wirecast combined with gear like this has created a third generation. Is that a true statement? Is it a generational change, or is it just different ways of doing the same thing?
Well, I would actually say it is a generational change, in the sense that, as he mentioned, early on you kind of had to put a proprietary system together to do what you can now do with an open system. So that's kind of what the computer industry always allows us to take advantage of, that Moore's law that's happening. And so the great news is there's so much business out there for everybody that we're all going to do very well. But I'm really pleased with the product that we have. We're able to offer more power for less money, and in a system that can continually evolve, because it's components that are getting developed independently by pretty large manufacturers.
Now, who would you consider a typical user of this? Well,
Wow.
First, how much does it cost? And second, who's a typical user?
Yeah, so our entry-level product is $5,000, and it goes all the way up to $10,000.
And the difference in price is caused by?
We have a small portable unit that does not have the built-in screen. Then we have the built-in screen, and then we have the Pro, which has 12 CPUs, and so it's that extra processing power that increases the price. Users range.
So entry price $5,000 to $10,000.
$5,000 to $10,000. Well, $10,000 is
the top.
Is the top of the line.
Okay.
Yeah, and we also offered. So we discovered that turnkey is really important to people. But we took it one step further, because we now also offer a line of cameras. Those are the cameras you're using here in your booth. And we've innovated with a new camera called an auto-tracking camera, which will lock in. The new technology is to use facial recognition and motion technology to actually track a lecturer or a presenter as they're walking around. So
for professors at universities that refuse to stand still because they don't know how, the camera's going to track with them automatically without having a camera operator there.
Yeah, so this is where One Beyond's always trying to stay One Beyond, right? And I may be jumping the gun here on kind of what's new at the show for us, but we're taking streaming and recording one step further. So it's a wonderful thing if you want to do a produced show like you all do, and you have the staff to live switch and add graphics and do all that. But there's a lot of people who don't have the camera operator and the live switching person, and they would like to be able to record a multi-camera event, but don't have the resources. So this auto tracker camera, first of all, eliminates the need for a camera operator. And now we've introduced a new technology called U-Switch. It's an appliance that will take 4 camera inputs, or one of them could be a laptop, scan converted to a camera input in, and without a person on set actually switching, the viewer in their home or in their office in a browser player has the ability to select which camera angle they want to watch. So I had to be careful just now and smile all the time, because those of you who go and visit this interview on the One Beyond page, or I think you mentioned you might even host it on your page, will get the U-Switch experience. It's a new way, in my mind, of watching online multi-camera video.
But as someone who has to pay the bandwidth costs of streaming this stuff, now I'm streaming not 1 video file, but I'm streaming 4, so my bandwidth goes up 4 times.
No,
True?
so this is the magic secret sauce of the One Beyond U-Switch technology. That is actually how. There's a number of folks out there. It's kind of the holy grail in my mind of for one type of consumption of video, that it's like being there. You know, I want to watch the guitar player. Somebody else wants to watch the lead singer. Somebody else wants to watch the drummer. The challenge is that if you're streaming 4 videos, you have to play 4 times the bandwidth. That's not how One Beyond's doing it. We're actually combining the inputs in a very proprietary, patented way, actually, to stream all of the signals in one stream. And it's our player technology that's pulling it out and letting you switch it. So actually, you're not going to be paying higher bandwidth.
Well, you and I have to have a long conversation about this, because you don't get a free lunch. So something happens, it's got to decrease image quality somewhere.
Yeah, so actually, I mean, you're right on that, right? Each one of the, there is that trade-off, but what we're banking on is that bandwidth is going up, and so the other second part is the encoding technology is getting better. So at lower bandwidth needs, we're getting higher quality videos. So I think we're riding the curve, as with all of our other products, of following technology as it leads us to giving better and better solutions.
Very cool. Rony, where can people go on the web to learn more?
Yeah, so we're at www.onebeyond.com.
That's the number 1 Beyond, all one word, no spaces, onebeyond.com. Rony Sebok is the Vice President for One Beyond. Rony, it's always fun talking to you. Thanks for spending the time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Take care. I'm just going through my list of people here, and we had Dave Walton, the Assistant Vice President of Marketing and Communications on JVC Video, Philip Nelson, the Chief Relationship Officer with NewTek, Larry O'Connor, the CEO and founder of OWC, and Rony Sebok, the Vice President of One Beyond. What a great group of people. And this is just the first of our 3 live shows today. The next one is going to be at 1, the next one is at 4. And don't forget our evening special report with all new interviews to give you the latest news and information direct from the 2015 NAB Show. I want to thank all of our crew for making these shows possible, because without them, it'd be a dark screen. My name is Larry Jordan. This is the Digital Production Buzz at the 2015 NAB Show.
The Buzz would like to thank Debbie Price, our event producer, One Beyond for the cameras and video streaming system, Advantage Video Systems for the onstage monitor, and our incredible Buzz production team for making all of these shows possible.
The Digital Production Buzz at the 2015 NAB Show was made possible by supporting sponsors. Shutterstock, a global marketplace for royalty-free images and videos. With over 2 million royalty-free HD and 4K video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. And by One Beyond, leaders in digital video systems for streaming, archive, and storage. Additional sponsors include LarryJordan.com, helping media pros find work, improve their skills, and keep clients happy.